People of Earth, it's been a while. My name is Al. Across the table is...
My name's Joe.
And together we're kind of right.
Table.
Yep.
I'm across the table from Al.
Yep.
And together we are kind of right.
Yes, we are, baby.
And that's not right wing. We're just kind of correct.
Well, speak for yourself.
Well, Al's a little right wing.
You know what I mean?
That's okay.
You are too, it turns out.
Well, I found that I have a lot of liberal tendencies. Have you noticed that?
I don't know about liberal tendencies. I mean, I think you agree. You're common sense. You're smart. You're probably moderate. You're probably moderate, which means you got some conservative tendencies and you got some not conservative tendencies.
If I had enough beers, I'd probably take it in the ass by a fag.
Oy vey. Why take it?
Well, maybe I'd give it. Probably because I couldn't get it up.
Well,
I'd
that's
have to
the
be
other
that
thing.
Drunk.
Yeah, right. Especially...
No, if we have any gay fans, I'm not going to take it in the ass.
I'm going to admit right here that in my advancing age, that if I drink too much, my penis just not get erect.
Mine goes inside my butt.
It just hides.
Disappears.
Yeah, right. It turns into a vagina.
All I could show somebody is my balls.
You know, it's funny that came up this quick already. I taught my daughter's home from college.
Right. It's our show.
I know.
You know how fucked up we are.
My daughter's home from college, and when I talked to her on the phone before she came home, I said, hey, listen to some of the shows, because I talk to you sometimes, and sometimes it's funny. She goes, oh, okay. So she listened to it one night while she was on duty. You know, she's an RA, and she has to do door duty on the weekends. So she had it on, and she was listening to it out loud, and she's like, I immediately started talking about my genitalia. She said that she literally went, Dad, and she cut it off, and she goes, Dad, I don't want to hear you talk about. First she said your sex life, and I said, no, I don't ever talk. That's the one thing I don't talk about. I didn't never talk about my sex life. She goes, no, I'm sorry. I meant your genitalia, like that. She didn't say genitals or, she said your genitalia.
I don't want to hear about any of your nether regions.
Which is such a official sounding fucking word. She's so proper,
Well, I don't think any dog wants to hear about their father's junk.
So I told her, honey, I'm pretty sure
what you do with your junk.
I'm pretty sure the show's not for you. I give you permission to never ever listen to it ever,
Well, my nephew listens to this, says he has to run and go turn it off when someone's walking into the room at work.
Right.
So,
he listens to it out loud at work. He's got to get some of them fucking
he's got one of those
Bluetooth headphones.
Phones that, that phone that just, you can use it as a...
Anything.
Yeah.
It's called a smartphone, Joe. Your smartphone does that too.
Well, apparently you can, it's loud enough so you can...
Oh, yeah.
Can, it's got a couple speakers in it, and you can sit it down and listen
mine's
to
wonderful.
it across the room.
You know what it is,
I didn't know that.
It's almost like everything old is new again. It's like the old-fashioned transistor radio. They had a speaker in them, and you could get them to go loud. They didn't sound that great, but these actually sound better than transistor radios.
Yes, they do.
But it's still funny. It's kind of the same idea. Hey, today... whatever the fucking day is. By the time you listen to it, you'll know what day it is.
Today is Tuesday, before Christmas, the 19th.
Yeah, and the boys and girls in the House passed the Trump version of the tax reform. Now it's going to the Senate tonight.
Oh, wait, I thought it passed the Senate.
Well, now this is the House version. This is how it's going to go the rest of the way, all right? Tonight,
I was away for a week.
It's literally going to the Senate as we speak.
I mean, away.
And by the way, on my list, we were supposed to do one of these last night, and we didn't. So I'm prepared for yesterday. But anyway, this is what I wanted to talk about anyway. And they still think they got enough votes, even though, did you hear John McCain had to go home? John McCain's not long for the world, by the way.
Yeah, well,
he's going to die soon.
He's got a bad...
viral infection.
Well, he's got brain cancer.
Which equals...
I mean, he's got bad brain cancer.
He's looking at dying of pneumonia, I'm thinking. And I would go to Arizona, too.
God bless John McCain.
God bless John McCain. He's a patriot. He's a hell of a patriot.
Hell of a guy.
But I'm saying that it's just after all this weirdness in this political world that... Oh, and then the other guy, Flake, I think he's Arizona also, and he originally was going to step down over some shit. He looks like he's he's back on board with the Trump plan. And I guess I was talking about it to one of the guys at work. He was thinking that we were going to be having more in our paycheck soon. I'm going, I don't think it works that way. I think it might be the next cycle. But now they're saying if this passes tonight, right, and then it goes back to the House for realignment, and then it goes to Trump's desk to be signed into law.
Right.
I thought it went in after the Senate, but no, it goes back to the House again. But it doesn't have to go back. Oh, look at the fighting in Charlottesville. Oh, that's...
Again?
No,
Or is that no, that's the same one.
Yeah, for everyone who's wondering, we have Fox News on. And no, we don't always have Fox News on.
Usually it's CNN.
Usually it's CNN. Oh, this is the fucking robot. Do you ever go to the Hall of Presidents in Disney?
Yes.
Well, now Trump, I don't know who was president the last time you were there, but I've been there enough to see, I don't think I saw Obama, or did I? I don't remember.
I saw Obama.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
But now Trump made his debut tonight. So anyway, the tax package is on its way, and that is a victoire for the president.
I don't know. It's a victory for the president. I have read various. I Google tax cut summary,
Yeah.
and of course, because our news is so biased, if you read the New York Times, all people that make below $200,000 are going to die,
Right.
and starve to death. And if you read the Washington, the Wall Street Journal, this is the greatest thing since sliced bread. So I don't know what the deal is. It looks like they're going to lower the overall tax rates, but they're not raising taxes on the rich either. And there's something about there is a sunset clause on the lower tax cuts
Okay.
in 2025.
Oh, they will be back to how they are now, or they would even be...
Yeah, so I don't
more.
quite understand that. This may be the old... Republicans basically stand for fuck the poor.
Right.
That's their MO.
Yeah, it is.
A true Republican wants all poor people to die.
Yeah, and let's remind everyone there's a difference between a conservative and a Republican, all right?
Well, actually, the conservatives and the Republicans want all poor people to die.
I don't know about
For the
that.
most part.
Yeah.
They want
I
them
don't think
to die.
they want them to die. I think they just want them to, work.
Especially the ones that were born rich. The ones that were born rich especially want the poor to die.
Yeah, they don't. It's weird. I'm telling you, them old money people, they don't like new money, and they don't like no money.
No, they really don't.
They make fun of people who make their own way in the world. Isn't that weird?
Do you see that fucking idiot? Speaking of something, it's one of those. It's a Koch brother, but not the pair that's always talked about. He was on 60 Minutes a while ago, like I'll say a month ago. He was on, and apparently now he's a billionaire too, but he's not involved with any of the. He's just got his share or whatever the fuck it is, and he's like a collector. He collects art and he collects wine and shit. Well, he's bought $35 million of fake wine.
Oh, yeah. We talked about this on the air.
Did we talk about this? And I just think that is the fucking greatest. That is fucking great.
I mean, again, I said this last time. You think he'd vet that shit somehow.
He is a walking example of why there should be a huge inheritance tax, because he's a useless fucking moron. And just, take the money away and give it to somebody that can create something with it.
I hope his kids went to a really good school and will do something. But they probably won't. They'll probably live a life of leisure.
Just that's what he's done. He collects shit. And a lot of fake shit, apparently.
Fucking idiot.
But he's going after all the, that's his, he's going to make wine collecting legit again. That's his goal in life.
I had a $6 glass of wine. Now, there are $6 bottles of wine, and that if you're in a restaurant, that $6
bottles of wine.
That $6 glass of wine is from a $6 bottle of wine that you get at the package store, by the way.
Right.
And it was cold, and it was crisp, and it was delicious, and it just made me think there's other people in here sharing $200 or $300 bottles of wine that in no way taste as good as the $6 glass. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just, wine is such bullshit. It's just such a crapshoot.
Wine is
on how it actually tastes. I'll put it that way.
I don't know.
It's collectible for the same reason anything's collectible, because it's rare. Just because there wasn't a shitload of it made, it's expensive. That doesn't mean it tastes good.
Yeah, I mean, you can get like some 42 fucking bottle of, Bergen-Swash shit bag, and, there's 3 bottles left in the world.
Right, exactly.
And it's literally gasoline.
Yeah, and it tastes like salad vinegar.
The only reason it's worth $4 million is because there's 3 of them.
Right, exactly. That's my point.
That's the same thing about this art. I look at this fucking art that they sell, and it's insane. Did you see the what's the fuck? Warhol. Andy Warhol made a couple of Brillo boxes. And
he made a painting of Brillo boxes?
No, he made an actual Brillo box. Okay? He made like 20 of them.
Right.
And it's a fucking Brillo box.
Right. It's just big? Were they all different sizes, or was it?
I don't know. They weren't, wasn't that big. It was a little bit bigger than the actual Brillo box. And he, made it out of plywood and painted. I mean, it was silk screened so that he could do multiple Brillo boxes. And one of them just sold. I don't want to lie. You can look it up. It was either like $1.3 million or $3.1 million.
I believe it.
And I watched a documentary that basically traced the Brillo box from the original guy that bought it.
Yeah.
And paid.
Well, that was my next.
He paid $1,000 for it.
That was my next question. So it wasn't owned by the Warhol estate. It was owned by someone.
No, it wasn't.
So it was a chain of owners.
But the people, it focused on the people who originally bought it, and they put a plexiglass box over it and used it as a little coffee table. And they have pictures of it used as the coffee table. And they sold the thing, I think, for like $40,000 or something like that.
The original buyers, okay.
Yes, and they sold it to somebody else for $40,000.
So they did a 40-time profit or whatever.
Sure. And then, I don't know, I think it was sold again, but somebody who sold it either for 1.3 or 3.1 million, some crazy amount of money.
Sounds to me like collectible art is a fairly good investment.
Well, it sounds to me like if you brought the Brillo box anywhere, people would say, "I'll give you." If you put it out on a yard sale, no one would give you more than $3.
Nah, someone give you $20 for it. Be like $20.
For a Brillo box?
Absolutely.
No. I think
not any Brillo box.
Well, you can't tell.
A Brillo box that somebody made? Like
Yes.
out of oak tag or whatever?
Yeah. It's a plywood Brillo box somebody made. You think? I think $5.
I think $20 you can
And
get
you
for
probably let it go for $250.
Yeah. I'd fucking...
So the value is very strange.
I know. It's a good investment. It's like real
because
estate.
it was painted by.
Here's the thing.
Why?
I
Why
understand.
is it
right? And we're talking about
the value?
It's not
fictional.
It's not a meritocracy either. It doesn't have to be something stunning or breathtaking. The deal with Andy Warhol
it can be a Brillo box.
Andy Warhol's genius wasn't in his physical ability to reproduce landscapes with a paintbrush. His particular genius, was finding a way to get people to collect shit that's fucking fairly uncollectible.
And worthless. And he even said...
And that's genius.
He said, people ask him, well, do you really consider it art? And he goes, not really.
No.
And, well, it's really easy to make. Yeah, that's why I do it. Because it's easy to make.
It's easier than making lithographs, for Christ's sake.
And, well, do you think it's art? Well, sure.
There's a fucking lost art, huh? Lithography. That's fucking gone because of computers.
I don't know what that is.
It's just a printing method. That's all.
Do you use a press?
I mean, they had a huge lithography. Yeah, it doesn't matter. When
I moved here, there was a big lithography place.
Yes, I was just going to say, in Plimpton, right?
No, right off the exit 6.
Oh, there was one off off the new 44 too.
Yeah.
That's
Not the new 40.
The
old 40.
Yeah, I mean, not even. You had to go way off the beaten path.
There was a...
Halliday lithograph was that one.
Yes.
And a lot of people around here worked there. They had a lot of people working there.
Well, it was a pretty big place.
Yeah.
And I don't know what they did.
You know what they got behind that now? That building is something else, but behind that building, Cisco has their big fucking facility, which I'm sure you've seen.
I think we're talking about two different places.
Oh, you're talking about the one at Exit 6. I'm talking about the one in Plimpton. Anyway, It's interesting how that new 44 changed the whole landscape of this area, you know?
It did.
Just fucking retail everywhere, which is fine. Especially now, I said it before when I was paying houses. Now that I'm involved in the commercial end of the thing, I'm like, build all the fucking stores you want. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because $25,000, $30,000 paint jobs are hard to come by in the residential world, you know?
I think they should do all kinds of this lithography. I'm looking up what it actually stands for.
It's some kind of printing method.
It's a printing method where you put the ink down on a surface that's treated to repel the ink, except where it's required for printing.
It's just not a photograph. It's just a way of reproducing something.
Somehow, I guess, is this where you can redo a photograph? It's got that kind of resolution.
Well, yeah, that's what it is. That's when you buy a photographic print. It's a it used to be a lithograph. Now it's a scanned image on a computer. But that's how they used to reproduce.
You mean it's printed? It's printed from a computer.
Well, now it is
kind of like when you walk out of the, after a Disney ride and you go through the gift shop and they have the picture of you and your family screaming.
Yeah, technically that's a photograph still.
Yeah, but they print it out on a printer.
Correct. But that whole process is still called photography, you know? It's just not film photography. It's just... So, lithograph's not film. It's how you would reproduce something like that was on film, you know? It's basically just printing pictures.
Hey, now
instead of fucking words in a book, you know?
Here's great news. Hillary Clinton favorable rating at new low.
I mean, why would they even bother with a fucking poll like that?
Die, you filthy fucking whore.
Who did that poll? Who did that poll? And
36%.
Does that not prove that we are in an exceptionally slow news cycle? Tax reform in North Korea notwithstanding, and men behaving badly. By the way, we're at like a denouement. We're only up to like one. We're back down to one or two guys a week suffering. We really, it wouldn't even be original because you can look on 9 million different places online and we could fill this whole wall with the people's faces now.
Wouldn't it be a great New Year if Hillary died New Year's Eve?
Oh my God, let me think.
Wouldn't that be fucking great? Happy New Year! And by the way, Hillary Clinton's dead. Hey, how about if Hillary Clinton?
I'm not sure I wish her death as much as I just wish her pain and suffering.
Died while choking on Matt Lauer's cock.
Yeah, died while choking.
Being fucked in the ass by Bill Clinton.
Died while choking on Matt Lauer's fucking leftover KFC chicken bones.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that, you know? Something really great? Humiliating, you know what I mean?
Just be perfect. You could put a picture of her, because everything's so... You got a picture of that fucking fat, melted, disgusting body.
We
sideways.
are 18 plus minutes in, and that's how long it took us to talk about our number one subject, folks. By the way, as much as I said at the beginning of this, I don't want to talk about the podcast, but it's funny. Joe went away, and I listened to a lot of it. And
I listened to a lot of it. We say fuck too much.
Yeah, that's all right. We'll get, if you want to get into that in a second, but let me finish this thought. I cut up a lot of shows. I reprinted, but I literally listened.
You got to stop thinking.
I'm done. I literally listened to everything, and now from now on, all I have to do is print new shows. And if someone goes away, I'm just going to make a note and replay whole shows. No more clips. I'm done with clips.
So you're saying...
It's too much work.
You're saying fuck it.
But no, I think I put up some good shit. All those long clips were from the legendary Show 4.
I listened
Show 4 was when I came out of my fucking shell on this show.
Well, I drove all over Western Florida.
Yeah.
And stayed at three different houses.
Ira's, Jasper's, and who else?
Ira, Chris, and Chris.
Who's the Chris? The one I know with the J.
Yes, he's in Naples. And then there's the one that used to live up here.
Oh, I forgot he was down there.
Yes.
So you spend time with him too, and his lovely wife.
Yeah, and he listens to this thing too.
Oh, that's
and
nice.
He doesn't show up.
I don't know what to say about
you know
that.
what? He did. He did show up.
Here's another thing we can do if you want, and this is easy. There are other.
This isn't a dig, by the way.
No,
on you.
No. I just want to tell you.
You look like you look defensive.
No. I'm not. What I want to do is.
I'm not saying you fucked up.
Well,
Al.
I didn't. But what I want to tell you is SoundCloud's fine for their analytics, and guys, we love you. We love you, SoundCloud.
Yes.
But there are other analytic. Services that we can purchase, and I can tell you about those. We don't have to do it on air, but there's one called PodTrack, and there's a couple other ones that.
No, I'm not even saying that. This is just something. What we're talking about, folks, is when you have a podcast. The idea is that you want to know how many people are listening to your show, and because we didn't start this to make money, but at some point, it would be nice if we could actually make a little money. But that's not why we did it.
We're going to do it for 2 years and see if we can attract enough people where maybe an advertiser would be interested in.
Yeah. So I mean,
advertising
there
on
has
the
to be
show.
there has to be some sort of little financial incentive. Neither one of us really give a shit too much about that.
No, it's fun
But
enough. It's good. It
we
keeps
have a
me
lot
out
of
of
fun
trouble.
doing it.
Yeah, it keeps me out of trouble. It keeps us visiting.
So the thing is, whoever you do your podcast through has to keep track of how many listeners you have. And when I went on vacation in Florida, what I found out was that there are a few people that are listening to this show that aren't being picked up, so we don't know that they're listening.
Yeah, I understand. I know what you're talking about because I know people like that too. By the way,
so what that means is down the road, and they're actually listening, then our potential, value to some advertiser is going to be much lower because of the people that are not showing up in the analytics from our podcast host.
right.
Is that clear enough?
Yeah,
you think?
you nailed it.
About neither one of us are greedy, and we actually love.
And we like hanging out with each other, and you
have to.
And by the way,
You gotta love
It
to
may sound
talk.
like once in a while we're annoyed with each other, and for fleeting moments we are genuinely annoyed with each other. Believe me.
But there's not hate.
There's no hate, and we always leave friends, and it's. I think we
He
actually.
smells a little bit.
No, I don't.
Which
I smell good.
I can't get
Listen.
over I can't get over
Listen,
the podcast.
I'm very well groomed and hygiened
Well, now that he has a job.
now
he
that I
has
have
to
a
be.
job.
But
But what I was
before
going to
that,
say
let
is
me
we
tell you
probably annoy each other for briefer amount of times than we do if we're in the cabana. Although I go out of my way not to annoy you in there. Here I try to annoy you once in a while.
something. Right. Well, I'm not really that annoyed.
You're not that annoyable, actually.
My feelings are very hurt.
Sometimes
though.
I start.
lot.
Sometimes I try to annoy you, and you start laughing. I'm like, fuck. I'm just.
It's tough.
So, did you see the whole Amtrak derailment thing? It's kind of news. It's news-y, but again, it's way across the country.
I don't go on Amtrak.
Meaning, you know what? I've been there. I've been on it for New York City. It's pretty good for going down to New York City because it's 3 hours and 20 minutes. But you still got to get to the station in Providence and all that shit.
Yeah, might as well just fucking drive. Amtrak crashes
Way too often.
more than is comforting.
The only thing I know about this was that here's a few things I know. There were 70 people on board, and I don't know how many died or got hurt. And that for a little while, one of the cars was dangling over a bridge over a body of water, and that when it derailed, it was going 80 miles an hour where it should have been going 30. That's all I know.
Well, it was probably a drunken
I don't know that.
a drunken engineer
Yeah.
driving the train.
So here's the thing. I prepared yesterday because we were supposed to do this and we didn't. And that's fine. And then today, I usually prepare at work during lunch break. And as I told you, we went out for lunch again. There's a lot of going out for lunch. So I couldn't rightly bring my notebook and go on Yahoo and CNN and pick news stories to talk about at lunch, you know?
Al's new boss wants to have sex with him. So
I don't
he
think
keeps
so.
taking him out to lunch.
No. The supplier, the vendor took us all out to lunch. I don't know why I was included. I got to tell Rick tomorrow. I was going to tell him.
I know why.
Tonight on the way home, I had no business being there. It's not a paint supplier.
He wants to put his fucking face into your muff.
I don't know. Maybe he's just
He does.
Maybe
I'm
he's
telling
just
you.
buttering me up to loosen the blow when he fires me on fucking Friday
I'm telling you.
or sometime.
What else could it be? I think you're up for some sexual harassment.
No. Although I tell
Come
you,
on, Al.
no,
Take it all off and do a dance for me.
there's no sex, but I'll tell you, there's some genuine affection there. We definitely get each other. He's
Well,
starting to
that's-
get me. so.
Maybe he trusts you. Maybe it's a.
Well, he doesn't trust me enough to fucking say what these jobs should cost, but I'm always fucking within 1 or 2%, so I don't know what the problem is. You know
Well,
what I mean?
I can
I'm
see
usually
wanting-
right fucking there, man.
Yeah, but you know what? You want somebody else looking at it. Just
I don't mind because it
Because-
takes the pressure off.
you know what? It's not going to be. It'll never be a 4% mistake. It'll be like a fucking 30%.
Well, that's what I keep
mistake.
telling Rick. He goes, "You're working too hard on these things." That's the other thing he told me. Even though he can't keep up with me, he tells me I work too hard on these fucking things. I'm like, Rick, what do you want me to make a $10,000 fucking mistake and that'll be 12% or 20% of your profit on one of these fucking things? By the way, that parent company does way more money than I thought they did.
Parent company being who?
The drywall and construction company that's the parent company of the painting company. I'm going to just tell you how much they spend on drywall and metal framing in a year, materials.
This is the people you work for?
Yeah. So the drywall company.
400 million.
No. They spend $4 million on drywall and metal a year. To me, that's a lot. They're doing some business. That's pretty
Buy a
good.
lot of drywall.
Yeah, I mean, what does it cost to drywall one of your houses?
Like 13 grand.
So 13 grand divided by 4 million. Oh, well, no, then you got to add in your sticks too. What do you spend on sticks on a house?
It's nothing even comparable.
No, I know it's not comparable dollar for dollar.
Well,
I'm
I don't
just
know.
trying
The frame is. I mean, you're talking about the frame. So the frame's like, but that's plywood and shit.
I
So I don't know
understand.
how to separate that out. Say
Yeah.
25 grand.
labor and material.
Say 50 grand.
Labor and material 50, and then labor and material on the drywall's another 15 or so.
So say 65 grand just for shits and giggles
All right. So
on a house.
I don't
Now
even
he's
have my
doing.
calculator with me.
So if I built 10 houses, which ain't happening, that's 650 grand. He's
Right.
doing 4 million, but he does commercial stuff.
Yeah,
so
no, I
you're going
know.
to use a lot of drywall.
No, I understand that. I'm just saying. I was giving you the numbers so you could. That's what they do, which I thought it was not that
No,
much.
it's big numbers.
That's big numbers. It's not bad. It's not huge.
no.
It's not huge, but and they're not union or anything. You know what I mean? It's a family-owned business. They got about
Keep talking. I'm peeing.
85 employees. You know what I mean? So, I forget how we got there. I keep talking about work, and I don't want to talk about work, but it's a pretty cool place. And everyone seems to be genuine, and everyone who works there has been there for fucking ever. By the way, in the office, Jesus Christ, everyone's a long-time employee, except for me. My office mate just came back. He went to a general contractor and was bored. He was doing estimating for everything for a general contractor. He said most of the time he was literally sitting around playing a video game or watching Yahoo. And then he went to a big union shop that has like 1,600 drywall hangers. And that was fun because he was getting a couple jobs in the millions, and profit sharing and all that. And then he came back because he came back home. It was closer to home. Everyone there is a great person. He worked there for 7 years before he left. So my point is, a lot of people, everyone who works there has worked there forever. And they're all young. I'm the oldest guy in the building. Thank you. How's that? The oldest guy in the building.
We're fucking old, Al.
Yeah, I know.
We used to be young.
It's all right. I fit right in.
Everybody used to be young.
I fit right in. All the younger guys, well, they got parents and in-laws my age and shit. That's all right. Hey, my mother-in-law is only 4 years older than me. She's younger than you. My mother-in-law is younger than you.
It's because you're a cradle robber.
You fucking old fart. No, it's because you're an old fart. Hey, we talked about men behaving badly. Do you know who Mario Batali is?
No.
Mario Batali is one of these celebrity chefs. He's the Italian chef guy, but he's got like the red pulled back slick hair and the big fat red face, and he sucks.
Yeah, but I heard...
His apology included a cinnamon roll recipe.
But I heard something like he didn't really he doesn't really give a fuck.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, they were saying in the I don't know who the guy is. I think I was listening to like NPR in Florida, and they were talking about this, and they had a female chef on.
Love NPR, by the way.
And she said, "Look, being in a kitchen, you're gonna get called all kinds of things. You know what I mean? So if you're like, hey honey, get that fucking salad done, would you slow bitch?"
Right.
That's not sexual harassment. That's the way it works.
Is that all he was accused of? Was talking?
I don't know. I don't know whether he was grabbing
anybody's
tits or anything.
No, again, what a lot of these guys, and it's coming out now, and it seems like it's a pattern. He's not someone who was grabbing someone. He took his cock out, and it was engorged, and he was stroking it
in front of a woman,
and asking while he was stroking it if she would like to, stroke it also or whatever.
When I was down, I asked a lot of friends of mine and people I didn't know who hung out with friends of mine, if you would ever find it, sexually appealing to pull your hog out and start jerking off in front of a woman you didn't know.
I don't think I could get hard.
And I'm pretty sure everyone gave me a strange look, and I said, I'm asking because this is
show research, by the way.
Louis C.K. did.
And a bunch of the rest of them. Harvey Weinstein.
Harvey Weinstein
He did everything, though.
Yeah, he went from rape to, grabbing a nipple. So, everybody gave me a strange look and said, ugh. that wouldn't do anything for me.
Yeah, that's another thing when you go away. But see, that's cool. When you go away, you see friends and people you get to talk about shit that we talk about. But is anyone as fucking bewildered by this phenomenon, this cultural phenomenon, like we are? I mean, as far as the men behaving badly thing, I think it's more of I think men have always behaved badly. I just think it's because it's just easier to get to the bottom of things now in the world. You know what I mean?
Well, I think it's just because communication is so... it's just so rampant, so easy.
It's immediate.
Yeah, it's so easy to
communicate, right?
And fast, but when you say bewildered, meaning, the certain sexual thing. All right, I don't understand raping a woman, but I can understand there's a sexual act involved, whether it's a power thing. I don't know. I've never raped anybody. But
yeah, it's a physically sexual act.
So what you do, and I believe, talking to rational people here, what you do as a human being is you try to put yourself in that person's shoes and say, why would you do that? You know what I mean? Is it because you could get away with it? Is it because you're really famous and you got a big head? So
to speak.
So what we've tried to do is I've tried to say, what would be sexually exciting about pulling my genitalia out and starting to jerk off or masturbate in front of strange women who are clothed?
I couldn't even get my dick hard for that.
And I don't understand. I can't put myself into that person's shoes.
Right. To me, that just means that your dick gets hard all the time, no matter what.
Now, I need a specific... Did you see that movie, Kinsey?
About Michael Kinsey?
Kinsey, the sex guy. Remember Kinsey, the sex guy? He
No.
wrote all the books about sex.
Was the thing called Kinsey?
Yeah, I believe
Yeah.
so. And
No,
it starred Liam Neeson.
Oh, no. Yeah, no, that's way behind. I never
didn't see
saw
that?
that. No, I know
All
what
right.
you're talking about now.
Well, part of they had the fastest jerker. The guy, I don't know, he called up and he said, I can jerk off in fucking, 2.5 seconds.
this was a character in the movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can go from flaccid to blowing a load in 2.5 seconds. He goes, no, that's impossible. And he went from flaccid to blowing a load in 2.5 seconds.
I've done that.
So there are people that are,
I don't
you
do
know,
it that. I don't do it anymore. But
maybe there are people that have that talent. But I still don't understand why you would do it in front of a couple women you don't know. It's just strange.
let me just say this.
It's very strange. But people are very strange.
Yeah.
The human is a
First of all,
strange animal.
Like I said, there's no way I'm getting my cock aroused for that. But I might understand the part about the strange women thing. But it doesn't seem like these guys were with just strange women. It was women that they knew or had some sort of not authority over, but you know what I'm saying?
They certainly didn't have, like, and I'll go back, and I don't know this, for 100%, but I don't believe there was any, Louis C.K. did not have any authority over these people. He might be in a position where he could get them some work.
Right.
Maybe.
Authority's the wrong word. But what is the word
It's definitely different than a Harvey Weinstein where he could destroy your career.
Yeah, not just get them work, but prevent them from ever getting
Right.
any work ever.
So,
Which is wacky. That just shows you Hollywood sucks.
but now I did hear, and I have said this on this podcast, you don't go to some fucking strange dudes. Don't go to anybody. If you're a woman listening to this, if somebody says, come to my hotel room because I want to go over the business plan, they want to fuck you.
Yeah.
And if you go, they think that you're going to fuck them.
There's no reason to ever go to somebody's hotel room ever.
However, I have to say this. I also heard, and this is concerning the Harvey Weinstein thing, that it was just known that Harvey Weinstein did a lot of work out of his hotel room. And if somebody if you're I guess you got a manager, calls you up and says, hey, Harvey's at the fucking such and such hotel in room 1104, and he wants to see you at 2:30, you just go.
Yeah, but don't you think he was doing all that work in his hotel room to cover for the fact that he was fucking a lot?
I think
That's part of why.
Well, I
he was
think
doing
probably that was the secret, and that's why it's so. Harvey Weinstein is not a single person case. I think there's a lot of guilty parties here, and I think Harvey Weinstein should be. The entire Harvey Weinstein situation should be investigated because I think there's people that knew full well they were sending some young
brother first among them.
young 22-year-old, 20-year-old
His
fucking
brother
woman
first among them, by the way.
who was naive and didn't know what the hell's going on to some monster's room.
Him and his brother
Gonna
weren't.
fucking rape her.
His brother, him and
And
his brother.
if you send somebody to knowingly send some person to some fucking monster's room, just so you can make a buck off of it if he happens to use
So you're
her
saying
in a movie.
you're saying like agents and shit like
Yeah,
that.
the agent. There you go. I was thinking manager, but agent.
Yeah, managers too. Same.
Then you're fucking you're as guilty as the rapist. In my
Sorry,
book.
I'm sorry, buddy. I was pointing because they fucking flashed up a picture of Paul Ryan like fucking 16 years ago when he first got in. He just looked like a child. That's all.
He still looks like a child.
He is young looking, isn't he? You know who he reminds me of? And I know my brother has.
Fucking dope.
He looks like my brother Paul, kinda.
No.
Paul's got light hair and he's got dark hair, but they both got them blue eyes. He looks, and
Yeah,
physically,
but he looks
he's
stupid.
lanky.
Your brother Paul looks fucking bright.
Yeah.
Look at Nancy Pelosi.
We
She
love
looks like a
Nancy. Oh,
shriveled
by the
up
way,
old fucking dog.
that was another clip that we got a positive response on, by the way.
What's
Some
that?
email about.
Nancy Pelosi.
Nancy Pelosi, that little bit that we did about how
Here's the thing about
she's
Nancy
a good
Pelosi.
time girl. You know what I mean?
Oh, she loves to fuck.
Yeah, yeah.
There's no question
Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
she's a goer.
So we did that for 5 minutes.
She can get. You could have a monster black cock
Yeah.
and 3 balls, and she could get everything into her mouth at once.
And you know what? If you got a pathetic, puny little penis like me,
she doesn't care about
she's
that
way.
either.
As long as you lick a pussy,
She knows how to do
all
it.
you gotta do is eat her box a little bit.
No question.
Show up with a fucking 8-ball of Coke and a fucking jug of whiskey.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
I
She's
mean, right
down.
now, that's why she can't fucking talk during
She's
the day.
down. She's like, "Did
She's-
you bring the
she
Viagra? Because I
swallowed-
forgot."
She swallowed so much jizz, her fucking brain
She's
is
like,
like
"I only
floating
brought
on
Cialis."
jizz.
Yeah. So then
She definitely swallows.
So then
too.
we bounce from
And
her.
She smiles at you. Can you see her looking up at you
Oh,
with
yeah.
them, looking up with those sexy Italian eyes?
Yeah. I'll tell you what.
That was a nice load there, Barry.
Yeah. And she probably shows you the load in her mouth
Yeah, she puts it
before
on-
she swallows
She
it.
kind of sticks her tongue out with your fucking full load on there.
So
and goes, mmm.
So
you
we've-
can see it going down.
So we've determined that Nancy Pelosi is a lot of fun, and
And
Hillary just isn't.
And you know, Nancy Pelosi has a great rack.
Of course, look at her.
A great rack. And you know there's been several loads.
She's on
Fucking-
record talking about her surgically enhanced rack.
Yeah, but I bet it was pretty nice.
Before then?
Oh, yeah.
I don't think she had much of one if you look at the pictures.
And you know what?
She went from like an A cup to a double D.
Well, she's there's definitely been some splooge spread over those fucking knockers.
One would hope. You know what I mean?
You just know there has.
I hope so.
Fucking definitely.
You know?
Definitely some her husband or friend of her husband while her husband's watching has definitely blown a load all over her tits.
Right. The
Now if I heard that Louis C.K. had been in Nancy Pelosi's bedroom with her husband jerking off in the corner and he was jerking off blowing a load on Nancy's tits, that would make fucking perfect sense
Yeah,
to
it
me.
makes sense, sure.
Had total sense to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
And
if
that's
Nancy and her daughter were fully clothed, sitting there in in broad daylight in a hotel room, and Louis whipped out his dick and started, just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, or in the restaurant. I got the feeling half of this shit isn't even in a room. It's in a fucking lobby or I mean, it's in public, half this shit with these guys.
Well, how can you get your dick out and jerk off in public?
That's just what they do. When no one's looking, they wait till someone's not looking, and they're just like,
Well, this is all right. Maybe this is a process for me.
yeah.
Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe my jerk off skills are not up to par with some of these other folks. Are we talking like
It's
a
exactly
30-second deal?
This is exactly what my point is. I'm not talking about the fucking.
This isn't a 5-minute thing.
No. Yeah. This is
This is a 30-second like.
This is the ability to get your dick hard quick with the thought of, I'm going to show these people my dick who don't want to see it. They're genuinely sexually excited by that.
and blow a load in 30 seconds.
Or not.
Well, if they're jerking off, they got to blow a load,
Yeah.
right? What's the point?
Yeah. I mean,
Do we know that for a fact that Louis actually fucking blew a load?
no, I don't think that was ever the case with Louis. I think his thing was, I got to think that if he tried it and
So
it
he pulled
failed,
it-
it probably tried it and
All
it
right,
worked
so
too.
there was no conclusion. This was
Right.
He just pulled his cock out and he started jerking off a little bit.
Not to completion necessarily. Only Harvey's the one who's been talked about with the
so
completion.
the Louis C.K. thing is even less. I said before, I think Louis C.K. misinterpreted a situation.
A couple situations, like 5 of them.
Well, I think it was 4 because there were 5 women, but 2 women were together.
Okay.
So I'm thinking Louis C.K. got these women into the room. All right, this is how it went down. This is how I'm thinking it went down.
Yeah.
The way it was described when I read the thing. Because when someone says masturbate, I think that there was a there was a completion. Now you've brought a whole new light to this thing.
Masturbation does not necessarily include having an orgasm. Masturbation is
So
just
here's the deal.
playing with your junk.
So Louis thinks that hey, you know what would be really funny? This is what he's singing in his head. If I take my cock out,
Right. You don't even
and
have
I
to take,
jerk it a few times.
You don't even have to take your cock out for it to be. Look, I'm masturbating right now.
Yeah.
You don't even have to take it out.
Well, but apparently he
By
took
definition.
it out, right?
Oh yeah. No, he
All
took
right.
it out.
But he might have done this for like 3 seconds and then put his cock back away.
Right.
So we don't know that he did.
Well,
a
he
whole
took it out long enough for it to get aroused and ask if they were interested in.
And once
whatever.
they said no, what happened?
He went like this, and he put it away, and he left.
Well, he sounds like a fucking gentleman to me. What has he done wrong?
The only thing he did wrong was
I think
not
now,
ask if it was okay if his penis
Now,
made an appearance.
you know something? I think we're just going down. Now you heard about Matt Damon, and Matt Damon.
No, wait, hold on. Go ahead, Matt.
Did you hear
Damon?
about Matt Damon?
I got to admit, Joe, I didn't look at the news at all when you were gone. So go ahead.
All right,
I looked at it yesterday.
Matt Damon. Well, I don't think this is when now. It doesn't matter. Matt Damon, who should never say anything because, you know what, Matt, you're a nice guy, and if you ever hear this, I love your movies, and I think you're a great actor, but just shut up, you know, because you got paid by Harvey. Your first movie was from Harvey. Just stay away from this topic.
Good Will Hunting was a Miramax film?
Yeah.
Oh, no shit.
It was a Harvey film.
I'll tell you what.
Harvey gave Matt the.
He knows movies,
light.
man.
Yeah, he's great at it.
Yeah, good. He's good
But
at his
anyway.
craft, man.
So Matt was saying things like
You got to talk into the top of the microphone, Joe. Just tilt
Matt
it towards
was
you a
saying.
little.
Matt was saying.
No,
Well,
not like that.
you ought to suck the top of the mic off.
You're doing good.
I'm gonna eat the foam
No, you're doing good.
like it's black cock jizz.
Sorry.
So Matt was. Now you got me all fucked up. Oh, Matt was talking about that. One man's sexual harassment is not the same as another's. Meaning, look, what Louis C.K. did is unbelievably different than what Harvey Weinstein did. Can we agree on that?
Yes.
In severity, meaning there's a scale of sexual harassment.
Absolutely.
If someone says, "Hi, Eileen, your left tit looks really nice today," that's a scale.
Louis C.K. never put his finger or anything inside anybody.
Let me finish for a second.
Yeah.
Hi, Eileen, your left tit looks very nice today. It's a bad thing to say to Eileen. However, nobody was touched. No penis was shown.
Yeah,
nothing.
some people would say that's worse,
And
by
then-
the way.
If there was, "Hi, Eileen," and then Eileen is raped, that's a lot different than, hi, Eileen, your left tit looks good. Or, you know what, your rack looks good today. Whatever. So what Louis C.K. did is wildly different than what Harvey Weinstein did. And this is sort of what, because I don't want to, it's not exactly, but it's sort of what Matt, there's a scale of this shit. There's a range of how bad it is.
So you're talking
And there
about
was
there's
a
a
lot
range
of-
of it for you when you're judging its severity. You are inclined to judge its severity, whereas the
Well, of
law may or
course.
may not. Okay.
Well, it's not me. The world fucking
Common
judges
sense.
it.
Yeah, right.
Common
right.
sense dictates
Yep.
that things are different.
I agree.
I mean, if you rape somebody, that's a lot different than grabbing their tits.
Right. I believe that this is one of those places where common sense is not, necessarily
So
the
now
law.
it's so heated that there was a whole bunch of women that came out and were like, "Matt Damon, fuck you fucking talentless piece of shit, and
Yeah.
it's all the same, and it's all these guys should be fucking killed."
By the way, how great was he in The Departed? Sorry, man. Didn't mean to interrupt your flow.
You know, The Departed is one of those movies that was
a great
disappointing.
movie. Oh, why? Because you knew how it was going to end?
No, because you don't believe.
You do have to suspend a lot of disbelief.
No. Don't put words in my mouth.
No,
Let
I was
me
talking about
fucking
for me.
finish.
Oh, sorry, buddy.
Cocksucker.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to say anything bad about.
Yeah.
I think
a good
he's
actor, man.
I think he is a good actor.
Yeah, he's great. He's actually a great actor.
However, he has a high-pitched voice, and he's a skinny little dude.
He is. Yep.
And when he
Is a tough guy.
portrays a character, like the character that he played in The Departed,
Who could take care of himself.
I don't believe it.
I did in that movie, and
I
here's why.
don't believe it.
I understand
So it's disappointing for me because for me it ruins the whole movie. Because I don't believe the character, even though he's acting well, he's just his physical appearance and his voice don't match the character that he's playing.
I'm with you 100%. Okay, now ready? This is how I remedied that. All right?
You can't remedy it. I mean, you can make it
This is how
good
you
for yourself.
No, can I tell you how I remedied it?
Go ahead.
I watched the movie like 10 more times. And by the 8th or 9th or 10th time, I was comfortable with believing that character could take care of business.
Because you watched it 10 fucking times, you moron.
I'm saying the first
What's
time I
wrong with
watched
you?
it, I was with you, but I just thought it was worth enough, and that's why I watched it, so I know exactly what you're saying.
It's a good movie.
It's a great
I
movie.
like it.
It's a great movie.
You know
and
what movie I
Mark
like?
Wahlberg stole the movie, and he was in it probably screen time less than 5 minutes.
Nah, I don't.
He was in a lot of
disagree with
scenes.
that. But then again, I hate the Massachusetts State Police. So
You don't like that he was the one who put the fucking bullet through Matt Damon's eye at the end?
that was good.
That's what I'm saying. That's how he stole the movie.
Now, The Aviator was a great movie.
Saw it once, and I don't think I saw it.
I love The Aviator.
I didn't. I saw it incongruently.
Once again, I thought Leonardo DiCaprio did a great job.
but
I'm
not
not-
believable as Howard Hughes.
He ain't. He just. I couldn't. He was Leonardo DiCaprio acting to be Howard Hughes.
You know who's Howard Hughes to me? Jason Robards in Harold and Melvin.
I don't know what that is.
All right. You don't know what movie that is?
Was Melvin blowing Harold?
Or whatever it was called.
No, Howard Hughes. You have to have.
Howard and Melvin, not Harold and Melvin. Sorry.
You have
Howard
to
and Melvin.
have some gravitas
Yeah.
that you can bring. You know, a physical presence.
I'm going to send you an email link to that right now, by the way.
And he's Leonardo's kind of like a skinny little dude who's high pitched.
I thought that was not cast well. He was cast very well, however, in the Django Unchained. He played the psycho plantation
that was
owner.
great. That was great.
Believable, right?
Yeah,
40
I
years
believed
old.
it. Although he still looks too young to be playing the part. But that was a good. He's great. He's a great actor. Don't get me wrong.
Keep talking, buddy.
It's just believing that he is. When you watch a movie, if you watch the movie Ray with Jamie Foxx,
Who was in Django?
Jamie Foxx became Ray Charles, and you couldn't after 15 minutes of watching that movie, Jamie Foxx was Ray Charles.
Never saw it, by the way.
Leo DiCaprio did not become Howard Hughes. Leo DiCaprio throughout the entire movie was Leo DiCaprio doing a damn fine job of playing Howard Hughes.
Right.
And I guess that's the difference. And that's the only, hey, and it's just me. Maybe, who gives a shit what I think?
Well, I care.
I know you do.
Listen, we're going to take a quick break. I got like 5 more things to talk about. So we've been doing 55, Joe, and we're going to do another hour when we come back. So let's take a quick break, okay?
Break it up.
I used to have fun in the summer sun.
I just thought it was, it was ridiculous.
It's so on point. Whenever someone comments positively on something or even negatively, all they got to do is react.
Right.
It's the same thing with this podcast, by the way. We are trying to elicit reactions, positive and negative.
Sure, but we're not going to jump off a cliff if we don't get a reaction.
What do you mean? Someone jumping off a cliff?
No. What I'm saying
with the
is
Facebook too?
These people that are on Facebook are getting these little shots of like
dopamine.
Yeah.
Or serotonin. Isn't it serotonin?
Something. There's both of them.
Yeah.
Somehow they're both interlinked, and
I believe it.
and believe me, I should know, but
yeah, me too. We've both taken enough medication.
But Facebook is fucking evil.
Yeah, it is.
This is what we've come to.
It's exactly what I said to my ex.
It's fucking evil.
I said, she goes, why aren't you on Facebook? I said, it's evil. Facebook's evil.
Facebook is evil, and that little Mark Zuckerberg,
however,
he's a devil.
However, you can find links to our podcast on our Facebook page, Kinda Right, at facebook.com.
Right.
And we're also on SoundCloud.com. And if you want to, you can leave a fucking comment on either of those, by the way. But
Facebook blows unless we get a lot of listeners.
If you'd like to get,
then we really love it.
If you want to get into a lengthy, private, electronic conversation, it's Kinda Right at yahoo.com. Kinda Right at yahoo.com. And I will respond, and I have responded. And all the messages have been specifically for me, Joe. So anything that comes to you, I will forward to you. But everything has been specific. It's been Dear Al. So,
well, if anything, listen. If you want a dopamine serotonin hit, you fucking email us, and we'll give you a kick in the cunt, like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah, put the name that you want us to say it's from at the bottom, and we'll say it. If you even want to say
I'll pretend to be your wife.
And you know what they say? Bill O'Reilly was like, name in town, name in town, name in town. You don't even have to say what town you're from. That's
right.
Fine.
We don't
just
care.
Name. You don't have to say anything. Or you can say just a town. You know what I mean? It's actually fun communicating with people. I feel you and I communicate with each other, but we feel it necessary to share our communication with everybody.
Right.
And I don't know why. So we talked about Chris Matthews. It looks like old Bob Mueller is going to get fired probably before the holiday fucking break.
Well,
maybe right after.
Look it.
Even the known communist Alan Dershowitz, who I like, by the way, I think he's brilliant.
Yeah, Dershowitz said it was.
He says Mueller is an incompetent boob. Basically,
well, he had like his second in fucking command here, who was like an insane Hillary supporter,
right?
Who?
Is that guy literally like his second?
Well, yeah, he was high up,
I thought he was like,
or some fucking
yeah.
thing.
I thought he was like the DC.
Well, I don't know. He was
special agent in charge
in the
or
fucking
something.
Thing.
Yeah,
he was high. You know, anybody that's in Mueller's team is high up by definition. And he was, there was a text thread that they fucking read on over the radio, where his girlfriend says, "You have to do it, Paul or Ed or whatever his fucking name is, and you have to save the country." "I will. I'm gonna save the country from this evil fucking Donald Trump.
Right.
If he wins, it's my duty as a and this guy is investigating, supposedly as an impartial party, on this fucking Russian investigation that's been going on for over a year now, and they have nothing.
Right.
They still have nothing. Bob Mueller looks like one of those people. I thought that he has this really straight face because he's serious, but I believe now that he just has to take a big shit, and he can't. So he's really just in pain.
I don't know. He looks like he's probably
Looks like
all right in that department.
You know what? I think he looks like a moron.
Really? He looks like Frankenstein. He
Why
looks
does
like John
it take
Kerry.
so long? Why? Yeah. Well, perfect example. John Kerry
is
one
Frankenstein.
of the most dignified looking people, sounding people, and also one of the dumbest.
He sounds like one of those old, like we were talking earlier about old money, new money. He sounds old money.
Yeah.
Because he is, right? And then he married new money. He married
Kerry?
middle money. He sounded old money, and I think he was.
Yeah, Kerry's a blue blood.
Yeah, but he married.
He married
Money.
Teresa Hines.
Well, right, but her husband was
and
a
she
heir.
married the one heir to the Hines fortune.
Yeah.
So she ended up with a fortune.
I mean, just John Kerry.
Talk about-
John Kerry's batting 1,000. Other than all right, so he lost the presidential election, so he's batting 750. He's in the Hall of Fame.
He makes.
He's in the Hall
John
of Fame.
Kerry was famous for making the worst. He's like Hillary Clinton. Not dumb, just makes a horrible decision maker.
You talking about all the way back on the riverboat thing?
He's just horrible decision maker.
But been in a position of influence for a long time, man.
Yeah, but not. I mean,
50 years.
When you're on the Senate, no, he became a senator.
I'm even talking about his stint in the military. You know,
84. He was a senator because he came to our college.
He got
UMass Amherst with Geraldine Ferraro.
Yeah, I remember all that. Whose seat did he get?
And do you know what the banner was that the Phi Sig fraternity put up when they were driving by in the motorcade?
I don't know.
Because it was Fritz Mondale and Geraldine Ferraro. They put up Fritz and
tits.
Clits.
Yeah.
No, Clits.
Oh, Clits? Oh, shit. Oh, boy.
Oh, it was fucking
That's
great.
brutal, man.
It was great.
Fritz
The
and
motorcade
Clits.
drove right by it. Fritz and Clits.
Fucking brutal.
But I saw John Kerry speak then, and Geraldine was very impressive. And John Kerry,
Geraldine Ferraro, you found impressive in person?
sure,
Yeah.
she wasn't. She is she dead?
I think she just died, yeah.
She was
I
a
think she
very
died in
impressive person.
2015.
She was a tough broad.
Let me look her up. Keep talking.
Definitely not man-made like Hillary Clinton.
She was the first woman who was on a presidential ticket, right? She was the first vice presidential
I
nominee.
believe so. Yeah, and I mean
With Mondale?
with Mondale, Walter Mondale.
So we're talking about 1980.
84.
84. Oh, my God.
Yeah, she ran
Talk
against
about-
Reagan.
I mean, Walter Mondale, I believe, was old money also. Can you even imagine? That guy was a fucking soft-handed motherfucker, man. His hands are softer than Donald Trump's, man.
Walter was not a bad guy, though, I don't think. No dummy. He just got beaten. You know, you can't go against Reagan. Reagan was like on top of the world in 84.
I mean, we're talking, what, 20 electoral votes, maybe?
What do you mean? What they got?
Wow. Geraldine Ferraro died in 2011, bro.
Well, you know, we're not really on top of that.
35 to 2011. She's older than my mother. Way older. 10 years older than my mother.
She was a tough broad.
I mean, you got to be, right? What was her resume? I know that Mondale was. I love how these guys come up to power. It's intriguing. I love it, and I don't want to crash on Walter Mondale. I think he was a lightweight, but he was governor in Minnesota, and like I've said before, anybody who can fucking put themselves in the position and win a campaign to be governor of a fucking state, you gotta be a driven person.
Right.
And we give a lot of points here on Kinda Right on Yahoo.com. At Yahoo. We give a
anybody
lot of points to guys and gals who are driven, and both Mondale and Ferraro were driven. And I think Ferraro was definitely Mondale's intellectual superior.
Ferraro was a hell of a gal.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that
would have been
kind of sexist thing.
probably would have been a serviceable president.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Way better than Hillary.
Well, fuck yeah.
Hillary, the most unfeminist fucking woman to ever rise to the top.
She was not a politician. She was a lawyer.
Who?
Ferraro.
Yeah, but she was a good politician too.
I mean, that's why.
She gave a good speech. She was a respectable person. There was a little bit of bullshit with
Elizabeth
her husband that did
Warren
something.
couldn't carry Geraldine Ferraro's jockstrap.
Elizabeth Warren is a googly-eyed fucking nitwit.
Whom we can only hope runs for president in 2020.
God, if she runs.
Isn't that great? That'd be great.
gonna be Pocahontas billboards everywhere.
So
She's gonna have a fucking. You're gonna see those googly blue eyes.
what are
And
the
a fucking headdress sticking up above the headboard.
what are the contests that we're looking forward to in 2018? Are you following anything?
No,
No, not yet. Me neither.
I
I
do we
can't
have this
wait.
listed as a politics show.
No, it's current events.
Yes.
Current events.
Currently, I have no fucking idea who's
Yeah,
running
right.
in
'Cause
2018.
It's not a current event. Nobody's running yet.
I'll know
Not
a
2018.
few days before, though.
Sorry, buddy. I just asked you a question. I
No,
know
I'm
now.
just-
I understand
I'm
what
just
you're
fucking
saying.
around with
Now I understand why you're bringing that up. All right, I get it. I get it.
I'm just screwing around.
I'm
with
not
you.
being very current.
Hey, look! Listen to this.
I got a crazy one too, but go ahead.
Listen to this.
Yep.
Now, climate change is driving record snows.
Well, don't you know that 4-foot snowstorms are the result of global warming?
Well, now, now wait a minute.
It just is.
I am no climate change denier or global warming denier. But do you think the reason they changed, because it used to be global warming,
right.
now it's climate change, is because any weather now can be. Climate change can, of course, drive record snows because it's climate change.
Right.
So, isn't this a way just to be completely full of shit right in front of everybody? I'm not saying that global warming, I'm going to stick to global warming, what they used to call it, because we still are, it's not cooling out, right? It's warming. The earth is warming. So it's still global warming is the primary problem.
But that's why there's so much snow.
Well, that's climate change is driving record snows, not global warming. Although climate change could be caused by global warming.
Right.
You follow what I'm saying?
No, I'm with you.
So I'm not trying to be, I'm not a denier here, but we don't want to be mixing up climate change and global warming. Global warming is the earth is getting warmer overall. Now, there's certain segments that could, through feedback loops and various intricate things that I don't understand, could make various areas of the world colder by focusing. Maybe all the warm pushes all the cold into one spot, and then it snows like a motherfucker. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm just, trying to fucking, throw out something that so that climate change can lead to global warming can lead to snow, folks.
Well, yeah,
Record
of
snows.
course it can. That's why I'm mentioning it.
You know what else could lead to snow? Is that the global warming and the climate change is all bullshit. But I am not in that camp.
And it just so happens that there's a fucking cold mass of moisture blowing in. You know what I mean?
I believe global warming's happening because in our neck of the woods here, we've had pretty warm winters for the past 3 years.
They've been warm, but they are still violent in the precipitation in sporadic bursts. You know what I mean? Up till last year. This year, we haven't got it yet. We've been lucky.
What does
I mean,
that
we got a
mean
little.
anyway?
It just means that once in a
snow,
while,
or are we gonna get
it
snow?
seems like we have long durations of unseasonably warm weather interspersed with a snowstorm with 2 feet of fucking snow.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Well, that could be climate change, not
I don't-
global warming.
And I don't think that's necessarily climate change or global warming. I think that's weather patterns.
Do you think that could be winter?
Might have a lot to do with winter and the fact that it doesn't snow violently a lot every winter.
Right.
You know what I
last
mean?
winter was not.
We had 2 humdingers and the rest of it was nothing. But again, still, we had fucking snow on the ground April 15th.
Last year we did
Yeah.
in 2017.
And then it rained from April 15th when the snow finally melted until June 1st.
I guess it's all about. Maybe it's
This
As
is
I
from
get
someone
older-
who used to work
because
outside.
I can't remember what it was doing last winter.
Last spring was the wettest spring ever.
Yes, you're right. You're right. It fucking rained a lot. That's for sure.
Here in New England,
Right, because
just saying, here in New England.
the grass was wicked green.
Oh my God, the grass never got brown.
It was wicked.
The
fucking
grass is
pisser.
still green.
Yes.
I fucking hate the weather in New England, by the way. Fucking 4 months of the year. 8 months of the year, it's almost paradise. It really is. It's almost paradise.
Well, they all said in Florida, you picked the worst time to come down. It's
Because
like,
it was only 75.
yeah, it got in the 60s, 50s at night. I'm like, this is beautiful.
The
What are you
last 2
talking
days.
about?
Oh, you've been home like 4 days? Whatever. The last 2 days, it's been fucking 85 down there. In the whole schmoo.
I would hate 85.
But
I love
but-
65.
well, and then they say not that humid, but it's always humid in fucking Florida. It's
It
always
wasn't humid last week, I'll tell you.
in Naples and
Sarasota,
Englewood. Where's Englewood? That's the only one I don't know where it is.
that's between Sarasota and Naples.
And that's the Chris that we know from Plymouth.
Mm-hmm.
And he listens. I think I've seen Englewood, Florida on the fucking on the analytics.
He
by
does
the way.
listen.
Yeah. It just says Englewood, USA. I didn't know where it was. I know there's one in New Jersey.
It
There's
could
an
be
Jersey. No, it's him.
I believe it's him.
Because it doesn't say the state. That's why maybe if you want deeper analytics, we might have to go with PodTrack. SoundCloud's fine. We love you because here's why we love SoundCloud, and I got to do some investigation, by the way. SoundCloud's great because we can store all our files on there forever as long as we pay them $135 a year.
Unlimited.
It's great, right? It's beautiful. But I got to do some looking on all these other ones where the RSS feed goes to.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that I can put everything up on those.
Maybe we
Even
need two
listed one.
podcast hosting companies.
Well, what I'm saying is like on iTunes, I think I have to pay attention and put the newer ones on there. It doesn't.
There's the oldest podcast hosting site is like Lip Sync or something.
Okay. I don't know.
And that supposedly has the best analytics.
Oh, really? And it hosts and it has analytics? Because I've been doing a little more reading into the analytics thing. It looks like the companies that do just analytics and no hosting have the best analytics.
Oh, I didn't know there are those companies.
Yeah, PodTrack, and I said that earlier, and a couple others. They have like all the analytics, and that's what they do for a living. You know what I mean?
Really?
Yeah, they're like, they're not framing and doing finished carpentry. They're like finished carpenters.
Okay.
Like
woodworkers.
They're
Liberated
woodworkers.
Syndication, Libsyn, is apparently that's the oldest top one.
Oh, the oldest analytics
And they
for
host.
podcasts.
Yes.
While we're on the internet thing, I need your counsel, advice, and knowledge on something.
Yeah, sure.
You sent me, and you never do this, and I think it was only because we were excited about doing a podcast. You sent me a bunch of topics. I am, at worst, an absolute novice at knowing what net neutrality means. Can you give me, the fucking 5,000 word fucking primer on that, or
I can give you like a couple sentences.
can you please tell me what it is and why it's important and what is the fucking issue going on? Because my thing right here is I think that the internet should be free. Never mind not paying more for this and more for this and less for this. I think everything on the internet should be free.
Net neutrality means, okay, you're listening to a podcast and you're listening to it on the internet. And you get that by having an internet service provider. And that could be a cable company, or it could be a satellite company, or it could be, Verizon or a phone company, depending on where you are in the country or in the world. Now, the net neutrality law Sure. The net neutrality law, or I should say rule, because it is a rule that was handed down during the Obama administration through the FCC, was that no internet service provider such as Comcast, who also happens to provide a lot of television and movie shows, television and movies, can pick certain websites and then slow down the speed in which it comes into your house, i.e., say like Netflix, meaning to the point where you can't stream anything from Netflix, meaning you're not going to watch Netflix because you can't fucking get it. Do you follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That was the net neutrality rule. The belief being that Comcast would, they would say Netflix and Amazon Prime are not going to, as soon as they came up, speed's going to go down to a trickle to your house. So you can't watch anything.
Yeah.
And apparently the new FCC chief believes that that's not going to happen, that all we're doing is stifling competition because people that want to watch Netflix are going to find a way to watch Netflix by getting rid of Comcast and going somewhere else, thus creating it more innovation. And I don't know enough past that to tell you which one is true. I can tell you that I was for the net neutrality because it made it. I don't want Comcast deciding which site I go to gets faster speed.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because I choose to go to Netflix.
Everything should be the same speed.
And then Comcast says, well, we're gonna even though you're paying for fucking super fast internet, we're gonna slow this one down.
Is it slowed down to the point where it's noticeable, by the way? Isn't everything like the difference of like a millionth of a second at this point?
Well, no, I guess the deal is they could slow it down where it's unwatchable.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
So it's like 1990 again.
Well, I mean, it would every 20 seconds the thing would freeze
like
and
64 megabytes of RAM.
Right. You remember when the beginning of the internet and you clicked on a picture and you had to wait for it to like pixelate?
Yeah,
for
like
like
you
a
would go to
minute and a
work,
half.
you would do it at night after dinner and then leave it and then go to work the next day.
Right.
And then have
and
dinner.
There would be a whole 5x7 picture of
Right.
whatever you
24 hours later,
the girl
maybe.
with the big tits
Right.
that you clicked on the night before.
What is somebody who is a true capitalist through and through, in your opinion, what is their stance on the net neutrality issue?
Well, true capitalism is 100% market force. So I guess that would mean that there would be no net neutrality rule because no government is involved.
Right.
And true free markets are a disaster.
Right.
And anybody that's ever experienced a true free market knows it's a disaster.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say,
Can you give us a recent example of a true free market?
I don't know if I can, because I don't know if there's been a
Recent meaning the last 50 years, post World War II.
no, because I'm not educated enough, and I
Yeah.
really don't know. I would have
But
to.
I mean, you have
go,
your opinion is that a true free market is a disaster. I was just wondering
and
what
I've
you
read
based that
about
on.
it, and I've read about examples.
Yeah.
So I've formed the opinion, but I don't remember the subject matter in which the opinion was formed.
That's fine.
But a true free market, meaning there's no regulation whatsoever. Here's what happens in a true free market.
Yeah.
True free market works like this. The biggest, meanest person or company or whatever beats the living fuck out of all the competition.
So we're talking about like the railroad,
And
guy.
they become
Talking about
the
the robber
monopoly.
barons of the late 1800s.
Yes.
That's
And that's what happens in a true free
True
market.
free market. Yeah.
And then you have
Whoever can buy the most muscle.
And then you have a series of oligarchs running your country.
They are oligarchs because they have private armies, literally private armies working for them.
So a free market without any regulation is a horror show.
Yep.
And it leads to a horror show.
Yep.
And it doesn't lead to good prices for.
Right.
When we talk about free markets, we talk about competition. We want competition. And any real capitalist, not a.
Even if competition just means two competitors.
Yeah, that's why I beat on Microsoft all the time. I think Microsoft's operating system should be broken up into 5 companies tomorrow.
Why 5, though, Joe?
Well, all right, 3.
Why not 2?
Okay, 2.
Okay.
It should be broken up into whatever makes sense so that the operating systems that we're forced, and I'm talking about forced, if you're a PC user, you have to use Microsoft.
Yeah, because you can't afford $5,000 for the new iMac, whatever the fuck.
Right.
Take $5,000,
And
by the way, retail.
I guess I can go and get
$5,000.
Linux or fucking, Unix or whatever
right.
the fuck it is, but no, you're going to use Windows.
Right.
And if they broke up Microsoft, the operating system part of the
Do you
country,
think that all
Bill
5
Gates
of the...
would be richer? Not only would he be richer, but
Would we have 5 very different operating systems?
well, I think you would have operating system tailored to various things. Like you'd have an operating system that's tailored to people that like to play, that are gamers.
Yeah,
And
right.
you'd have an operating system
And I know nothing about that, so...
that would be
I know the
tailored to
art
people that
shit
do
is-
art shit.
That's Apple, though. You can do that. You can get that
I
on your
think
Mac.
If you had a competing
You want
Windows
different
operating
price points, right?
Shit, yeah.
Yeah, not just one. You don't want 2 price points. You want 10 price. Kind of like with cars, right?
I want as many as there.
As many price
if you
points.
just want to go on the internet all day, which is basically what I do.
Do you think that literally breaking up Microsoft would accomplish that at this point?
Absolutely.
Yeah, but
In a heartbeat.
how do you listen? I know that you're gonna say, I don't know, but you got to be able to at least propose some way. How do they fucking pull this off? Do they literally just pull people from each department randomly and fucking make up new teams in each place? You know what I mean? Take one person from this department, one from, you know what I mean? Blah, 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 blah.
Well, here's what you do.
Yeah, go ahead. I
You
got to
go
peek.
back and read it like a 1980 book from when they broke up AT&T.
Yeah, right,
Because
okay.
this is not a new phenomenon.
Different, right?
No, this is fucking old school.
Yep.
You go back, 1980. There's 50 books that were written about the breakup of AT&T.
And what caused the breakup of AT&T in 50 words or less?
AT&T was a monopoly,
Yeah.
and monopolies in our country are illegal.
Did Reagan break that up?
No, this was broken up under Carter, I believe,
Okay. Yeah, I believe you're right.
and it was going to happen anyway.
Yeah.
And it was the best thing that ever happened. We wouldn't have cell phones today. People probably don't remember this, but you couldn't have a second phone in your house without the permission of AT&T and paying them. You couldn't own your own telephone.
Yeah, you had to rent the
You had to rent a telephone from
Kinda like
AT&T.
boxes, dude.
You had to rent a telephone from AT&T.
Yeah.
If you wanted a second line upstairs, not a second line, just a second phone upstairs.
There's still a lot of senior citizens in their 80s and 90s with that setup, by the way.
My parents had a phone on the wall that they probably paid $7,000 for in rent.
Oh yeah, and $250 a month forever.
Yes.
You know what I mean? That shit adds up.
So if you want to figure out how to break up Microsoft, you don't have to ask me. All you have to do is go back and say, well, what did they do with AT&T?
But doesn't it seem like it broke up into like I'm going to say a million, but whatever it was, 38, 42 different companies. And if they do that here, and now again, we're down to like 5 major carriers again.
Yeah, but that's not, at least it's
Because
5.
but I'm saying, and now nobody's got a landline. So the 5, I'm talking about cell phone. It's like 5. It's like 5.
Well, what they did is they they broke AT&T up, and I'm not going to pretend that I have any kind of
Right.
exact knowledge. on
Right.
this. And then
You're
they
not
had
an expert.
Then they had the baby bells. They called them the baby
They were the baby
bells.
bells, right?
And they had, because AT&T was nationwide. They owned the fucking phone company. They owned the phone company in the United States.
Right.
They were the telephone company. So they broke it up. There was a bunch of baby bells. A lot of them merged. You know, you had like New England 9X. Remember 9X?
Of course.
And 9X merged with like Bell Atlantic and
Dude, you can do that with your phone bill, and you can do that with the bank over there that was Bank of Boston, then
Right.
Baybank, then Plum, you know.
So what you had is this great divergence of with new companies, and then you had a convergence back to, you know, as they beat on each other.
Yeah.
And now we're at, you know, 4 or 5 or 6 companies that do cell phone and landline. And, well, landline is now done over, you know, internet, which you can do through any kind of...
Comcast is the biggest provider of telephone service in the United States.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So, I mean, the whole game has changed. But who knows?
Oh, and they also happen to own NBC.
If we didn't break up AT&T, we might still be renting a telephone.
Yeah.
So what happens with pure capitalism or pure markets is you end up with a monopoly, and that's bad.
Eventually. Right.
Eventually you
Yeah,
do.
yeah,
And
yeah.
Microsoft has been it was the judge that decided the Microsoft case said that Microsoft is without a doubt a monopoly.
And then why hasn't it been broken up?
Because it's got to go to the next step, and it takes a lot. And when you got
But it's been a while.
when you got billions of dollars like Microsoft does, you can delay that.
Well, yeah, and it certainly doesn't take it. You know, billions of dollars, $30,000 at a time will take a long. You know,
Yeah.
those guys. That's all those guys
They'll
are
never
getting
run
a
out of
whack.
money.
By the way, right? They'll never run out of money.
So
$30,000 sounds like a lot of
the
money.
deal
Like,
is,
like I can use $30,000.
If anybody really thinks, if there's a majority of people that really think that Windows, having used Windows, is the greatest thing ever.
Nah, I'll tell you what though. Tens. Listen, I know what you're saying. It's not. Nothing's ever going to be perfect, man, and they're way off. But 10's pretty good.
Yeah.
10's good, man.
Compared to what you don't know, it's great.
Well, yeah. I mean,
All you know is Windows. Imagine something that
yeah,
works.
but Windows 10 and Windows
How about-
9 are
How
like
about,
in
how about
name
something
only.
that goes 10 times as fast, doesn't load up with fucking
Buy a Mac.
programs that
Buy
you-
a Mac. Buy a Mac.
No. You break up Microsoft and you have competing
And you're gonna
operating
get
systems.
what you're talking about for $1,500 for that thing there, and not fucking $3,000.
Bet your ass, they have to
You
compete.
think?
They have to compete. So you're gonna find operating systems all with the Windows. They're gonna be running on the Windows engine.
Yeah.
And when I say that, I'm saying this without knowing I don't know anything about code.
Yeah. Right.
But there's the Windows operating system that is a totally closed, sealed thing that nobody has access to.
Right.
And you're gonna have five or two or 3 companies that all of a sudden can say, we can hit the 38% market that uses computers to do graphics.
Do you think though that there will be eventually, because of the way all this shit seems to go, that eventually it'll just all be swallowed up again back into one big company?
No,
or
it
is
wouldn't
there a
go back-
mechanism, government-wise and regulation-wise, to prevent that from happening?
I don't think it would ever go back to one company.
You don't think,
because
huh?
It's too big. It's so. I mean, Windows operating system is huge. I mean, it's worldwide. Every single PC in the world. I mean, we're talking like 150 different languages.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I mean, there's no way this is going back to one company.
Yeah.
It's going to be 3 or 4 competing with each other. The market is gigantic. Why do you think Bill Gates is worth $100 billion?
And will all of those 3, 4, or 5 be communicating in every language as well? Or
I would imagine.
yeah, I'm just trying
You
to
gotta
figure out
understand
how do you prevent it from getting back down to 1 or 2 choices. I mean, 2 would be great. Again, 2 is fine, but you're right. You probably shouldn't just start out with 2 because then you're going to be down to 1 pretty quick.
No, I don't think that's I think what you want to do is spur innovation. So you got some guy like Elon Musk who says, I'll take one of them. And he
Can you imagine? It would probably end up being the best one out of all.
turns into it's 100 times faster and it's magic and
intuitive.
you can talk to it and
Right.
it's not this dog that I'm looking at right now. Windows
I know.
is a dog
Yeah.
because it's based on a monopolistic company who just creates the same garbage.
Have you used any of the recent Apple operating systems?
I don't use any Apple shit.
But I mean, why wouldn't you try it just to see if that's gonna fucking?
I don't have an Apple computer.
Yeah, but I'm saying you're a computer guy and you always have been. I think you had an Apple back in the day. Why wouldn't you just
I had
take
an Apple back in the 80s.
Why wouldn't you take a flyer? Take a flyer on an Apple machine.
For what? All I do is look at the internet.
Yeah, but
and
you're
do
saying
some
it's a
word
dog,
processing.
and it's a dog.
It's a dog.
So why wouldn't you see if you just get the Apple for the same thing? And it's probably not a dog. It's probably seamless.
Because you got to pay $2,000 to find out whether it's a dog.
I just don't understand why you wouldn't be willing to take that particular flyer when you take a flyer on a lot of other shit. Why wouldn't you take a flyer on the Apple machine?
Well, I'm so used to Windows, I just use it. You just deal with it.
Yeah, you deal with it, I guess.
I mean, you got to become an Apple person. So
I
have a negative feeling about Apple people
So why? Why?
because I think that they think Apple people think that they're wonderful
That they themselves are wonderful.
because they buy Apple products,
Oh.
even though I know that they're fucking morons.
By the way, I'm waxing fucking not philosophical, but just, fantasizing about an Apple machine, and I've never had one. I also think that
No, I shouldn't say it.
I
Apple
also
people
think
are morons.
I also think that iPhones eat shit, and the fucking the top of the line Android kicks the fuck out of the top of the line iPhone.
Well, I don't know.
iPhones fucking eat shit.
I don't know that, but all I do know that if you want to, even if you have a fucking 18-year plan that you've signed up for, the new iPhone, you have to shell out $1,000 to get it.
Yeah,
$1,000.
Yeah,
For a phone.
this is $800. I got an $800 phone, top of the line, by the way. Android. This is it. State of the art. State
What
of
is
the art,
that?
son.
Is that a Galaxy
S8
8?
Plus, Galaxy S8 Plus.
Okay, so I got a Galaxy 5,
It's a nice phone.
and
by
I just
the way.
bought Bill one for
Nice
$100.
phone. Oh, nice phone. Yeah. This comes with my wife's my wife who I want to die, but first she has to watch her fucking niece, Madison,
You got to take that back. That's
die of fucking horrifying leukemia, otherwise known as blood cancer. But her
Al's going to hell, by the way.
this is one of her there's a strong possibility that none of the show is going to be published.
Well, that could happen.
No, I'm
It's
just
a
kidding, buddy.
Pre-Christmas hate.
I got 2 more things to talk about. I will edit out that rant. I think I can do it. By the way,
You can
edited
do whatever you want.
I edited out a bunch of shit, all those clips that we play. By the way, do you know how much effort it takes to actually edit
I
clips?
think I'll
and-
lie you. Well, you got to listen to 2 hours.
but
worth
it's
of
fun.
shit.
By the way, there's nothing that I would rather do than edit our show and clip up and find funny clips and put them up on the internet. It's so much fun.
You wouldn't want.
I would rather do that than have an orgasm.
How about being like greased up and have 8 naked Playboy models all over you? Would you rather do the editing?
I haven't done that though. I'm talking about out of stuff that I've done. You know what I mean?
No.
And I haven't had 8 broads. I haven't even had 2 broads, but I've had a lot of sexual fun. I'm sorry, Charlene. I'm not talking about my sex life or whatever the fuck.
He's been balls deep into a lot of girls, Shirley.
I'm not even. No, I haven't. I haven't. I've had a lot of fun, but when a lot of girls.
You've been blown by a lot of girls.
I would suffice. You know what? I bet you've actually had sex with more women than I have.
I don't know.
It's not something that I keep a tally on. But
I don't keep a tally either.
But you never paid for it.
Not that I remember.
I've paid for it a lot.
That's okay.
That's because I'm a fucking maniac.
That's nothing wrong with that.
But whatever. That's just because.
All right. So
back
to editing. You like the editing?
Oh, it's so much fun. I love cutting the show up. But I like cutting in the music, and I'm really every time I hear my guitar solo, it sounds like fun. And every time I hear Tree, it sounds like fun. I like once in a while dropping in some middle music, which I've found out how to change the fucking metadata on, so I don't get fucking called out on copyright infringement and all that
there's
shit.
a lot. People are a little too. They're too fucking wound up
and you know what?
Using a clip of their music.
I'll tell you right now.
You would think.
If we get to the point where we're making anything good on this thing, 10, 20 grand a week or whatever, or a month, whatever, I'll be more than happy.
$1,000 a month.
I'll be more than happy to compensate all the music people.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Out
of my take.
For the 5 or 10 seconds of music we use, which probably inspires a few young people to go buy their album.
Yeah,
for
right.
Christ's sakes. Now, I think some of these music people are fucking idiots about this shit because you want your music. If you got a 10 or 15 second clip as your bumper, that exposes somebody that may never have heard that and says, hey, I like that song. Let me go get that music.
And that's interesting because it's so hard to make money these days. It's not like it used to be where you put out an album, there's a couple singles and all that. There's the whole concept of even like nobody buys discs. We've talked about the resurgence of vinyl.
There are people that buy albums still,
No, I know, and most of them are our age and older.
And I'm not talking about vinyl. They buy an album, whatever format.
Whatever.
Whether it's digital.
It's mostly digital, admittedly.
Right.
But
and I understand. Look, if you're an artist, you don't want some like fucking white hate group, supremacist hate group who wants to kill all black people using your music as bumper music. I get that.
Yeah, right.
But our podcast or somebody else's podcast or whatever it may be, having a little bumper music, I can't imagine would be hurtful to your bottom line.
Yeah. Speaking of white people and black people and music and hip hop and all that, I have a couple of turtles in a bowl, and their names are George and Trayvon. You know who I'm talking about? George and Trayvon.
Trayvon, yeah, George.
Trayvon Martin and George Zimmerman.
Yeah.
George Zimmerman currently is feuding with Jay-Z and Snoop Dogg over a documentary that Jay-Z is producing about the whole Zimmerman and Trayvon Martin thing. Do you remember that whole story?
Yeah.
That was like a real weird pop culture phenomenon. It kind of started the whole, I don't know if it literally started the whole TMZ thing, but that type of instant communication about shit that's going on in the world, Well, a crazy story, but
I don't know what the truth is. George Zimmerman killed this kid.
Yeah.
I tend to believe that George Zimmerman thought that this person was
a threat
of some sort of threat.
Yeah.
And it had nothing to do with race.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I don't think he knew what race the kid was because he had a hoodie on.
And by the way, I believe that most people with common sense initially assessed the situation as such, but George Zimmerman's behavior since then has shown that he's
I haven't paid any attention.
Oh, you haven't? He's a
he
bit
a
of a
wacko?
lunatic. He's a bit of a lunatic.
Well, you know,
A bit of a lunatic.
and maybe he was.
And I'm not talking about the
before.
gun thing. I'm just talking about he's fucking crazy.
But I think what happens is we jump to this guy did this because he's a racist. We jump to that conclusion really fast in this country.
Yeah.
And it's not a good thing because you really want to know whether the person's a racist or not.
By the way,
Or was just because, wasn't that complex that Zimmerman was guarding? Weren't they like, they the victim to a lot of crime and shit?
But fucking everywhere is in that.
So he was doing the
the
neighborhood watch
world.
thing, and here's some guy, and he's creeping through the neighborhood. And
So, by the way, do you want to make a fucking stab at what month of what year that story happened? What was the month and year
I can't even tell you the year.
that George Zimmerman
I'm going to
killed
say
Trayvon?
2007.
I don't know what it is. I got to look it up. Can you vamp till then?
Yeah. Hey, by the way,
It doesn't really matter. What I'm saying is,
there's a Showtime documentary you have to watch
oh yeah, what is this now?
called "Burn, Motherfucker, Burn."
And what is that?
this?
Sounds familiar.
Basically a story, a documentary on the relationship between the Los Angeles Police Department, who are a bunch of motherfucking racists,
Clearly,
and the black community
who are
Since-
overly sensitive.
since the beginning of, since the early 1900s.
Oh, okay.
It's a fascinating documentary.
No shit.
And it brings you all the way through, and you understand. I think this sells the black point of view much better.
Was there a significant African American presence in Los Angeles in the early 1900s? Or, I mean, they were mostly.
There was there was a lot of African Americans that came to Los Angeles to escape the South.
Okay.
And the racist who was running the Los Angeles Police Department was recruiting white people from the South at the same time African Americans were escaping
Well, sure.
the same fucking racists.
Sounds like a movie. Sounds like a Quentin Tarantino movie.
It was interesting to watch.
Yeah, I
And
can't wait to see it. Burn, Baby, Burn is what it's called.
No, burn, motherfucker, burn.
Showtime or?
Showtime.
Yeah. All right, buddy. Listen.
Hey, is it time to wrap it up? I got to go eat something before I die. What time is it?
I don't know.
Have we done 2 hours of this?
Oh yeah, we're right there. It's not right on there, but
All right, let's call this one a wrap.
all right. So I'll see you Thursday. We're back on a regular schedule.
We're back
right?
on our regular schedule, baby.
Tuesdays and Thursdays from now until the end of time, till Thanksgiving next year.
Right. Or you may get it Wednesday and Friday, depending on when
Well, no,
he
you're going to
releases it.
get the show on Wednesday and Friday.
That's right. But we do it Tuesday and
Yeah,
Thursday.
2 times a week from now on forever. And if I got to go.
Until the earth ends.
By the way, I'm going on my honeymoon in June. Are you going? You don't have any?
I don't have
trips?
any planned trips, but we'll always make sure there's some material there for you
Between
to
now and
listen
then,
to.
there's going to be another 40 shows, so we'll be able to. We'll find a best of and we'll put it up.
That's right.
So that's it. I'm Al,
I'm Joe.
and together we're kind of right. And
Yeah. Good night, everybody.
see you next time.
Later.